Good afternoon or good morning or whatever it is that you're listening to right now. Just excited that you're here for the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight podcast. And so each week I want to bring in two or three people in the industry who are doing something. And that's why I want to highlight it and spotlight it, is because there's so many, when I think about just even the Denver metro area, and I think of like the Denver Metro Real Estate Association and having over 10,000 agents that are on. What I can tell you is 10,000 agents aren't killing it in the business. It's like any other business where there's the 80-20 rule, where 20% do most of the work for the 80% that are out there. So this podcast is designed for that 20%. It's designed not only to spotlight the agents that we talk to, but it's also designed to help any of the other agents that listen to it, or whoever listens to it, whether it's a client that listens to it, whether it's another real estate agent that listens to it, whether it's a title company or whoever. So we can bring some really good content of what's working, what people are doing, how they're making an impact in this industry. Because the goal for all of us is home ownership and figuring out ways that people can get home ownership. That's the number one goal. And the second goal is to just make sure that people in this lifetime actually get to make some money and have some careers that do really well. And so today I have Chad Denke on. And Chad, it's exciting to have Chad because he does so many different things. And we'll probably start out just talking about, his real estate business and the things that they do and how they're helping clients, and then move on to maybe some things that could help you as an agent, or you as a client, or you as a small business person, any of those different things. And so Chad, thank you for being on. I appreciate you taking your time out of your day to be part of this podcast. But at the same time, I would love for you to tell people, how do they get a hold of you? I want to do that first, and then we'll kind of talk to you about what you love most about what you do.
Yeah, well, first off, just want to thank you for an opportunity to come on here, obviously. And to get a hold of me, you can either reach out. Obviously, I'm a realtor, so my phone number is easily accessible. It's 623-282-0014. And so if you have any questions or anything, I have, like you say, very diverse background in marketing. It's not so much of doing so many things. It's meeting people on the right platforms is the key. Okay. And so you don't need a million things to have success. You just need to be great at one thing. And I think Gary Keller's book on the one thing is a prime example of that. And you find something that works, and then you go 8 miles deep on it and start to build something else, with that once you get further down, right?
Yeah, I love how you put that, because so many folks, they try to do, I had somebody who was, a real estate agent who was doing janitorial at night, who was doing teaching like a tutor in the afternoon. I'm like, yeah, it's one thing to do a whole bunch of things, nothing to do it in 3 different industries, and then to try to be good at it. But if you can be good at, like you said, the one thing, be really good and laser focused in helping a segment, or two, then you can really make an impact and a difference. And I think that's what a lot of us would like to do. Kind of just give us a little bit of your background and how you got started in doing what we're doing today in your world.
Well, man, like back in second grade, I was selling candy. I was selling stuff. I had a newspaper route. I'm that guy. Mm-hmm. I really was born to do what I do. I am an entrepreneur. By the time, I did not go to college, I started out pushing a broom in a dealership, and I went from there to owning my own dealership. I worked my way all the way through the chain, from finance manager to the GM, ran my own motorcycle dealership, got my own motorcycle dealership, got my own license. And so I almost went into business as fast. I almost went out as business as fast as I got in it at one point. Mm-hmm. So I've been completely broke, and more than once, and like broke.
Gotcha. I'm hearing you.
It back to the top. And back. And then one day I was looking with my wife. We just saw real estate in Arizona. Literally sold our home from Colorado, jammed down here. And I was doing motorcycles and stuff. And I said, man, I want to do this when I'm 60. I jumped into real estate, went in the crash course, started with 0 homes in the first 6 months. But I am a self-learner, and I was watching videos, and I'd heard a stat that if I did open houses, that it'd take for every 20 people, you would get a deal. Well, that's what I did. I did 3 open houses every month for 6 months, 0 deals. Then I went to 19 the next 6 months. So just building the pipeline, right? Mm-hmm, and it's not secret sauce. It wasn't like, oh my gosh. No, it was, I consistently did something. And I knew if I got in front of people, statistically, the stat is if they meet you in an open house, they don't have a realtor, you're going to get 70% of those people do business with you as long as you're halfway decent, right? And
Yeah.
I have been psychologically unemployed for over 20 30 years. So if you meet me, we're going to get along, and we're going to, like, if you're buying a home and you're going to do business with me, because I'm going to treat you right. I know what I'm doing, and I'm not a rookie, right? And I know how to treat people. So I did that. And then, real estate's always a moving market. And so, and I've always studied this whole time. I'm a YouTuber, I'm a self-teacher. And so I've always taught myself, and I'm always looking at marketing and psychology and people. And I look at things a lot differently. And that's probably the biggest things that's helped me in business over time is I understand things differently than most people. Most people are trying to sell people crap. Okay. I know I solve problems. And when I solve problems, I get paid. And the bigger problems you solve in the world, the more money you will make.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. And whether it's to the psychology of walking through at the beginning of an open house and people lying, saying the owner asked you to sign in, that's the biggest hogwash and crap. That just basically says you suck at what you do and you don't know how to actually treat people right. And therefore you're forced into registration, right? Yeah. So what you should ought to do is learn the art of when somebody comes in, how to befriend somebody and like build a relationship, and then open up like the door for them to actually want access to what you have and what you offer. And if you're offering the right thing, then then you go from there. So that's kind of like my career. You can see the books behind me. I read all the time and study. Yeah. So I'm all in on marketing, because at the end of the day, that's what generates in this business. You have to have marketing that's working, or else nobody will do business with you.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that you said that I want to kind of just expand on or unpack a little bit, because it's so important. One of the things that you said was consistency and how important consistency is. And I think when I think of like one of those bamboo trees or whatever, that it grows just a little bit, and all of a sudden after 19 feet in 3 days, right? Or just something unreal, uncrazy, fastest growing plant. But at first, it takes a while to germinate or do whatever it does.
3 years.
3 years to just sitting there. You're like, what's happening here? Yeah. And boom, I guess 90, 100 feet sometimes that they'll go to. And where you said, so the consistency of doing that long enough for your business to be able to take off. And that's where I see where you throughout your life, hey, it's okay if I don't say it's super okay that you went broke, but you went broke, you learned some stuff, right? And then all of a sudden you're consistent in something else, because if success leaves clues, it teaches you something how to make it. And then the main thing that I heard you say was, I get paid to solve problems. And as a lender in my business, I have staff that does a lot of the work for me, but I don't sit around on the computer doing a whole bunch of stuff. I spend some time creating relationships, helping people solve the problems that they need. When somebody's got a loan that goes bad, then they're calling me because they know I can solve that problem, or I can find the issue, or I have relationships with the people who can do it, instead of, I don't need to be on a computer typing in a 1003, or that's the
exactly
right? Because I don't get paid to fill out a 1003. I get paid to what happens after when there's an issue that goes with it. So what would you say about, for somebody that would come to you, or somebody who would want to use your services, about how well do you solve problems, and your consistency in making sure that you get the job done?
Well, I think on the surface, here's probably one of the biggest issues is probably, again, people think they're just selling a home, right? But their problems are far bigger than that. It's like McDonald's, they don't sell hamburgers. No. They're in the real estate business. And once they get real estate, hamburgers come with it. And see, people don't understand that. Like, a home just comes with it. And so you're in reality, and most people don't understand this. And I've read a great book from Alex Hermosi, and it's like called $1 Million Offers. And and it's one of the best books you'll ever read. And I don't have it here. Matter of fact, I got it in my it's in my bag. Maybe I'll grab it here later. Anyway, you'll never read anything better. But the point of it is like, they're looking to get a house, but what are the real problems? The real problems are, I don't know how to budget. I don't know how to save. I don't have a down payment. I live in this area. Like, there's all these other problems of what they really have. And realtors are always just trying to solve, well, I'll just sell you a home, low hanging fruit. And the reality is this guy took a gym membership, which here in Arizona, gym memberships are that's the worst business to ever be in. If you want to go out of business, open a gym, right?
My God.
They sell gym memberships here for $10 a month to a full, huge place. Okay. He took that business model and he started solving people's problems, asking the different question. Well, why are they fat? Well, they don't know how to prepare meals. Well, and then so he's like, okay, well then what if I showed you how to prepare meals? Okay. Well, I don't like to do the shopping. What if I give you the list? Okay. And what if I give you a list? And then, 100%. This book is worth millions of dollars. This guy is off the chains. He will show you how to break something down. And so start actually solving your clients' problems, because it's like, if they didn't learn how to manage money, then how are they ever going to buy a home from you? If they've been renting for 8 years and you're not going to educate them on how to actually budget, or you could just sit there and pout and talk about how you don't have clients, or you can actually show people actually how to do something that our education system doesn't, and you'll earn a customer for life. And that's what this guy did. He gave meal plans and he turned a $10 business into millions, showing people how, like, oh, they would never spend $4,000 on a package. Get out of town. You don't know what you're doing. And that was the problem. You're not delivering the right stuff. I mean, even as a lender, it's like, oh, well, there you go. There's your loan. Have a nice day. Why aren't you showing people how to pay that home off in 7 years faster? Or at least buy a bi-weekly payment. Nobody does that. Why aren't you? It's the same payment almost. Yeah. And if that person paid it off faster, they would be more likely to refi or buy another one down the road. But yeah, we just eat the fruit and we walk on, and we don't really solve people's problems. And see, that's the thing. So we just pass the buck, and we just next. And when they're ready, someday they'll be ready. Well, if you're going to be in this business for 5, 10, 15 years, what if you compounded those results for people? 15 years down the road, you would probably have more of that same customer repeating several times. And how many referrals would you get? Because you provided financial freedom for them. You allowed them to see what America doesn't do and fall in the great trap of Americanism and being broke and spending all your money and having everything, nothing but payments. Why not show them how to have freedom? And you give somebody freedom, and they're going to send everybody to you. Why? Because you're doing something different than everybody else. You're actually educating them on how to win in life, rather than trying to upsell them throughout life and just keep them broke. And that's typically where most people are.
Oh, I'm agreeing with you so much, because as I do, I do reverse mortgages so that we can create generational wealth for generations. So, like, an example is, I took a grandma. We took $200,000 out of her equity of her house. She's 72. We paid $80,000 for home improvement. Then took the other 120, split it 3 ways, and gave it to grandkids for down payments. But all 3 grandkids had to have a lesson with Brian on, this is what we need to do as we trying to. Right. Grandma had control. She gave you this $40,000, not so when she dies at 92 that you all can take it and go buy some motorcycles or some cars or whatever else, or from debt. No, she's investing in your future, and you can't let her down. So, what are we going to do? What's that next investment that we're going to do? One of the hard things, I do down payment assistance programs all the time, but the class that they teach at some of these government down payment assistance programs are just, what are you talking about? No, we're talking about, when is this next house? What's the next investment? What's the next thing that we're going to do? Yeah, you might need some help getting in, but those habits that you talk about, like, how do I budget? How do I make sure, that I'm spending my money in the right place, that I'm not, spending all this money on, I go to these apartments and I see Land Rovers and BMWs and Mercedes, and I go, why aren't you in a house? I can't afford a down payment, but you can afford an $80,000 car, right? I mean,
$900 payment. Yeah.
I'm not saying that I don't want you to have this Mercedes, but the Mercedes is just depreciating. Get that after you have your house, which is making, an asset that's an income that can help you. What's that next stepping stone? So like you say, it's how do you make sure that the clients that you sit down with, that you're working with, that you're not just done with them. Even today, I was working with, we're trying to work on buying an interest rate down because they want this interest rate. But the conversation is, how long are we going to be in this house anyways? So why do we want to spend this much money to buy a rate down to this amount when you're going to be in this house for 2 years? Because I don't think you're going to pay that much in interest in 2 years, right? Even
right. Yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't make the sense.
No, take the higher interest rate. In 2 years, we will do what we're going to do. Interest rates may or may not go down, but the time to buy is right now, because this is the start of your future of what we're trying to do and where we're going to get out. And if I make a little bit less commission because we got you into house, if I can still work you through, like, hey, we're going to refinance, so I got you there. So then we're going to buy another house. But I'm your person for your rest of your life, until I'm done with it, or my kids after that. But for right now, let's get you into something that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think there's opportunity there that a lot of people don't understand. It's, they don't look into the real number, right? And so it's like rates right now, like, rates are high. And it's like, this is the best time to buy. And then people are like, what? And they're like, you don't buy when everybody's at the market. Like, anybody can buy when rates are low. That's how we had the last problem. Do you not? Especially if they tried to buy 2 years ago and houses in Denver are going for 50, 100 grand over. And it's like, do you not remember where this market was? And like the fact that you can actually maybe get something at list price right now. Yeah, you might pay a rate higher, but do the math on the term. You can refi. There's only two ways rates are going, either up or slightly down. But I can tell you with inflation to where it's at, it will not be down, because economically, this is just how it works, folks. Got to lose a lot of jobs. End of story. No jobs, low rates. High jobs, high rates, inflation. Simple as that. You can watch all the news, all the forecasting, all the junk you want. But until people lose jobs, then you will have high rates, because inflation will continue to rise because people have money. There's too much supply in the market. And so it's as simple as that. Like, rates will drop slightly, but I'm here to tell you, it ain't returning back to the below 4 days for a long time, because they ain't nowhere near getting inflation. And so you buy now, and if it goes down a little bit, you can refi. But get your house now while people are nervous, and like the deals are now. And then you can always refi if it goes lower. And that's what I tell them. Best time in the last 3 years to buy a home.
Yeah, people look at, and I'm still talking about rates a little bit. People look at a rate and go, 7% for 30 years. I'm going to pay this X amount. I'm like, there's no way. I don't know. Maybe my grandma or grandpa had a house and paid it off in 30 years, or had the same loan for 30 years. But I've yet to meet the millennial that has had a house for 30, or is going to have a house with the same loan for 30 years.
Almost nobody. Almost nobody anymore. It's just not the way it works anymore.
No, so don't calculate based on 30 years into the future.
Right.
Calculate on, what is your goal? What is your plan? What are your dreams? Right. And that's the other part. Not only do we solve problems, but we sell dreams, right? We sell, and hopefully we sell dreams that are legitimate dreams, not the, yes, you can achieve a $5 million a year income. Right. That's going to take a whole lot of work, and you're going to have to change who you are to be able to do that. See all those books that are behind Chad? Those, you have to start there, because it's not just you're going to win the lottery, right?
Right.
That you're going to have to work at it, and it's going to take some years to be able to do it. But what's the realistic dream to get started right now? And I think that's home ownership for a whole lot of people.
Yeah. And it's the single easiest way for people to build wealth in America. And we're one of the few countries that do. I just heard a guy, and I don't know the stat, but I was listening to a podcast, and literally 40%, and I've done mission work before, and I know what I'm about to say. 40% of people in this world live on $2 a day. Okay, $2.
How blessed.
$2 a day, and they don't get a chance at owning land. Okay, their government isn't giving them grants.
Nope.
Their government isn't trying to help them. And so, I mean, me and my business partner talk about that. Like, you don't understand what you have. like the world does not like, please step outside your country someday and go somewhere a part of the real world and get a reality check, because I've seen the $2 a day. I've been there. I've done mission work. Like, I know how the real world lives. And to come here and have what we have, to simply running water. I mean, there's times I turn on the faucet and I'm like, I have clean running water, and I see people that are drinking water where they dump all their trash.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Oh,
grass. Exactly.
so it's an opportunity. Yeah, opportunity of a lifetime, and yet we don't capitalize on it. And the middle class is diminishing, right? And the rich are getting richer. Back, actually, the pendulum is swinging back to where the mega rich had land, and the people are losing the land. And we swung that for the first time in history in the 40s, when we had the great, the boom, and all the baby boomers and stuff, right? And then, but now the land grab is happening, and people like Bill Gates just want to buy every small farmer out and own all the land.
Yeah, it is amazing. Like you said, in this country, we have so much opportunity. And I know it's a buzzword right now, this generational wealth word, but inheritance, right? So most inheritance lasts for 2 generations and it's gone.
Yeah.
And that's because we're not teaching, some of the concepts of these ownerships, and I can promise you, Bill Gates and the people who are buying these mega bunches of lands, and the people who have figured out, how much land they can buy, their generations are going to go for generation after generation after. You think of the Kennedys, right? The Kennedys, who even through illegal activity was able to amass money, but took that illegal money and purchased a whole bunch of real estate and a whole bunch of other whole things, businesses, and then now they can't outpace their money that they make.
Right. Yeah.
And we squabble over an interest rate of 1%. I can't buy that house because the interest rate is 1% higher, or I can't buy that house because it's 400 square feet too small. But I really only am one person. It's like just the thought process that we have, that we're supposed to go from nothing to the top overnight.
Right.
And there's no process in between, but it's the process in between that creates what is needed for those generations to come.
Yeah, it's 100% the butterfly, the caterpillar, right? I mean, you break the caterpillar, the butterfly dies, right? And so it's 100% the struggle, because even if you win the lotto, you don't understand the right to earn that money and manage that money, because you don't understand what it's like to spit your teeth out and, handle that type of money and the power that comes with it. And so it's 100% that way. Like they say, if you give all the money in the world and distribute it evenly, within several years, it would be back in the most wealthiest people in the world again. Because because that's, I mean,
that's who they are. That's what they do, and that's what they know to do, right? It's about relationships and people, and they know how to create relationships and people. And a lot of people don't. They avoided those. So I love this, Phil. I mean, I could go on.
Yeah, we could probably talk a long time, especially when it's about business.
Oh my God! But give me an example of a client that you've been able to help. Maybe take us through a process of a client that you're super proud of, that you just tell me the story. I'd love to hear it.
Well, I mean, there's a lot, because I got into a vein that was, I tell you a couple of super success stories. And this is truly how you got to think about things differently. A couple of years ago, some programs came in, rent to own. And at the time, this is in Colorado, right? Or Phoenix, that homes are selling for $20,000, $50,000, $80,000 over. So my average client, I came from, when I first got to Arizona, there was vacant homes, right, from the crash. And so literally all my clients were down payment assistance. They literally got into their homes with $500. I mean, they had programs here where the government were giving people $20,000. It was insane. Well, that dried up. And then guess what? Couldn't get into homes anymore. So I got them into this rent-to-own program, where basically the investor bought it. The client picks it. The investor buys it cash. They move into it and rent it. Well, in the COVID market, those things went up and like 20%. And some of my clients literally were renting and had homes that had $100,000 equity. So you're talking, this is about thinking differently, talking about solving problems. I found a vein that was so good. And for my clients, that they could get into home ownership in a market that everybody was getting beat in, right? But we had cash offers, outbidding people, and then they were able to live in it, right? Appreciation, and literally walk in with 30, 50, $100,000 of equity with the option to buy. And that was a true home run. It's one thing to just buy it normal, but like say what? And trust me, a lot of people didn't buy these homes. It's nuts. A lot of people didn't buy these homes over the years, but it's just nuts. You know, those investors were praying that they didn't exercise the option.
Of course.
Yeah. But I mean, where else would you get an opportunity like that? And it's because I thought differently. I think about problems differently. And I was going to starve if I didn't learn. So starvation will bring on the best to you, right? I mean, you're forced when you're an entrepreneur you have to rethink when the bottom falls out. And so that was that. I mean, some of those stories were obviously those were killer. That market's come and gone. That's another thing about watching trends is they come and go. And so of course, you got to, you got to understand them when they're here and strike. And then when they're gone, they're gone. But yeah, that was a huge success story. Here recently, I just got an offer. We wrote it for 15 grand over, and the agent accepted it. I knew she lowballed or she had the listing too low, and I knew it would appraise, and we praised for 3 grand over. So that was another quick one. And every market's a little different. Some markets are hotter than others, but here in Phoenix, things have leveled out some. And so that was another good instance of somebody another great deal. And we would have never thought of that 3 years. I mean, the last 3 years, never, like concessions was 6 years ago, I mean.
Of course. That's people, real estate agents don't even know what those are anymore. The new guys have come in.
Right? I don't know what concessions are. We got 3% concessions, uprode it. I mean, that was unheard of it, but somebody needed that before. I would have told them, no way. Now I'm telling my clients strike. I did that in COVID too. I saw the dip in COVID. I told everybody to get in. Everybody sat on the sidelines, and I had a couple clients that got in, and then they capitalized, and then it just boom, it just skyrocketed. And then, so there's a couple success stories of helping people. Just got to be able to look at things differently.
Yeah, that's good. You also talked about earlier, you talked about marketing, and, I see myself as a marketer. That's my number one job is to market.
Yeah.
I see other folks go broke trying to be other things other than marketers.
Yeah.
What would you say? What would you say would be as you're thinking outside the box, or you're thinking about, and this is if real estate agents are listening to this, or even clients that have their own small businesses or something like that. What are some trends that are now happening in the marketing world that are different? I hear stuff, like with this, AI stuff and So what's your thought process here?
I mean, I'm in this space, and I know not just enough about it to be dangerous, but and it's going beyond even where my comprehension is, and it's advancing so fast. It's like light speed. People just don't understand what's coming. Like literally with artificial intelligence, what took us 5 years, 10 years of data can be solved in minutes. Right? You'll see the cure for cancers in the next 10 years, many of them. It's just, but in our industry, it's the platforms that use it and those that can integrate it. And there's some cutting edge stuff that is the Uber of the industry. That is, everybody knows the CRMs. You got Big Purple Dot, and they got Boomtown, and some of these companies are going to disappear because there's a company that's come up in the ranks that has cut that gap out. Like Boomtown, super expensive and things like that. And the little guys like us can do it. And I'm actually, set up with that. And what it is through automation. And you got to be able to meet people on their platform. And what I mean, that platform is on the phone. And you always hear that about social media and stuff like that. But are you running your business on a platform, your platform? And that's the thing. In the past, the apps did not connect. They did not. You had to have plugins, and you had to have this, and you had to have that. And that is long gone with the software that I'm using now. And you can reach out to me more, again, on my phone number and text me. And it's the ability to, again, from my phone, if I want to add somebody and on a campaign that's in my software, I can do that and trigger it. Like we've set up a whole workflow to where in the staging of our process that when a client, like say, goes through inspection, I can flip, add somebody, flip it automatically. They get a text and an email, but the text has a picture of me, a video we've cut, says congratulations, says watch this video now. Now, and the difference there was you did not get an image and it looked very spamish, right?
Mhm.
Because of that. But I can do that on the fly as well on my phone or the platform, or I could check all the texting and messaging. I can get an instant Google review with one tap. Okay. So when my client's right there, I say, "Oh, you had a great experience. Great." And then I just tap a button and be like, your pocket just rang. Can you do me a favor right now? Can you leave me a review? And then that's the key. The problem in the past is that link is to another platform that you have to go and then send, and then they might fill it
Mhm.
out. Life gets in the way and blah, blah, blah. You have to cut that off and you have to meet on the platform and use stuff that's going to give you that Jedi move right then and there. And then you get that Google review, which if you do this properly over time, you'll build your reviews. And that's the best free traffic you'll ever get. Right. And the ability to use video, like from my app, I can cut a video and do like, hey, if they can't make the walkthrough at the house, I could cut a whole video and give them the link. Or I do video updates and I'm like, hey, here's your house, you're listing today, here's an update. And I'm doing it like from the back and showing them. And then just, hey, I want to give you an update today. Here's how many people saw it, blah, blah, blah. And what it does is it gives you the personal touch that technology has been pushing people away because people use it to push away. You should be using technology with video to pull them in, right? And so, yeah, you could still sign the stuff virtually, but you can use video in the app and all in your house to bring them in and still have that, that feeling like they've met you and done so much stuff with you. And that's the thing. Like we have video throughout our process now to where it's so airtight between us and the lender, like it's hit on both sides. And then we have omnipresence so that when they ask for, somebody says a referral, they're like, dude, these people are so airtight with their systems and keeping us informed that there's nobody better, right? Because we did video that says, here's your next steps. And then guess what? They're not going to go to their email and open and watch the video bomb style. The percentage to do it, where they're going to do it on their, you got to meet them on the phone.
Meet them on the phone.
Meet them here. They're like this for 8 hours, even while they're working.
Yeah. So why you going to go to the computer? Yeah.
Oh, TikTok's up. What are you talking about? Instagram, Facebook. Like they're on this stupid thing 24/7.
Yeah.
And so if you're not going to, and it doesn't matter what we think about it, how irritated we might be, if you're not going to meet them there, you're going to lose, and the people that do will win. And so that's the next grab, that I see everything, because I've been in this space a while. I haven't seen anything like it. I'm doing things with it that I know nobody's doing, and it connects to artificial intelligence, chat GBT, all that stuff, integrates with my Facebook, auto posts everything. Never before has something ever been in one spot. And I'm telling you, going to revolutionize the industry, all kinds of businesses, whether it's a guy with a car wash, a detail shop, anybody that interacts with clients is going to need that automatic, that automatic stuff to keep you in front of your client to let you know you're there.
Yeah, because if they don't, and this is where they're going to be left behind. Because as I'm thinking about it, and we're kind of winding down on our time here, but I think of who do I want to go to if I want to make sure, because this is so good for the client as well, right? They get with that instant that we want, plus they get more information than we normally give them. So am I going to go to Chad, because he's got everything that I need to be able to close this loan on time, to be able to do my business the way I want to do it, and go to my next house or go to my next property and everything's already automated for me and I get stuff done? Or do I want to go to the realtor who's been in business for 25 years that has not embraced any of it, and they're telling me, I need you to come to this walk through. I know I'm buying the property out of state, but and I need you to meet
Yeah.
me, and I need you to take me around, and I need you, which some of that is all needed, but you're going to pass them by, because if I'm on the go and I want to get things done, who am I going
Right.
to go to? Who am I
Yeah,
going to
and
go
that's
to, right?
the big thing. Like, even if you don't like it, and I'm a little old school, but if somebody wants to be served that way,
Mm-hmm.
your opinion doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because their wallet will speak, right? And if you're not going to meet them on the platform and they find out there's another way to be met on it, they're just going to circumvent you and go around, right?
They'll find somebody else.
Yeah.
As soon as you offer one thing, 4 other people are sending something else, right, at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. I use that same platform like on calling. So small business owners say 70% of people don't answer their phone. I don't care if I miss a call anymore, because I have an automatic text back that directs traffic for me, because I know the basic question that the average person has. So if I'm in a meeting and I do a lot of rentals, that's another thing business wise, like how much money you're missing because you don't answer the phone. You're so burnt out by the end of the day. You haven't returned your phone calls and you're missing opportunities. Nobody's going to leave a voicemail, but I don't worry about that anymore, because I either direct them to fill out a form on my site or to book an appointment, or I already know what they're asking because I've answered so many phone calls, and I answer those questions. And if they really need something, I tell them to text me. So now, like, I don't care about missing calls because it's all automated on my end. And if I want to call them at the end of the day, I can see, but 99% of the time, it's just like being on a highway. If you go to a third world country, there's 0 lights and it's a freaking nightmare. You come to America, you have highways and you have signs. And guess what? Traffic, for the most part, unless there's an accident, it flows the right direction. And that is your business. If you're not going to put up signs and allow it to flow, it ain't going to go. Right?
I hear you. Well, Chad, tell everybody how to get a hold of you again. This has been a great conversation. I hope you'll come back. We'll do this again, and we'll just even get into more. I love the way it went. I know, I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to go today, but I'm glad we went where we went. And you guys need to call Chad. So, Chad, give everybody your information one more time. How to
get you can check me out on shackledsystems.com, or again, my cell phone 623-282-0014. And I'm with Great Way Real Estate, so I'm easily found. I'm the only Chad Denke in America. So if you look me up, I'm easily found.
I love it. Yeah. Well, thank you again. He's probably not going to answer that call, but you will actually get help. I can promise you that. And eventually he will. He will talk to you. He'll be happy to talk to you.
Yeah, you always help everybody, man. Thanks, Brian.
All right. You have a wonderful day. Yeah, we'll talk with you soon.
All right, bye.
This is Brian Arnold, and if you are listening to this part, you've just watched one of our episodes of the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight, where we've just talked to one of the best of the best. And I want to thank whichever guest that was here. They are phenomenal. They are amazing. They are the top of the top, the best of the best that are in our industry that are here with us today. And so I encourage you to please call them, pick their brains. They work for you. They enjoy working for you. They are incredibly good at it. And so I want to make sure that you give them a call. So whoever you listen to, whichever one you saw that you were there, please do that. The other thing is everyone deserves a home. Everyone deserves a home. I say that at the end of my show. You deserve it. Let us help you do it. My goal is to make sure that we see homeownership. It just sickens me to see apartment complexes continue to go up, because I know those are people who haven't been able to make the call or figure out a plan. So let us help put that plan together for you. I have some websites that allow you to do that, and I'll put those in the bottom, but please do. I am a lender. I do work in the lending space. If you do not already have somebody who's pre-qualified you, I would love to be able to have that opportunity to earn your business and qualify you. My number is 720-682-2223. That's 720-682-2223. Give me a call anytime, and I would love to be able to help you with that. We also do living trust. And so when we think about an estate, to try to avoid probate and make sure that doesn't happen. So whether it's you, if you own a home and you should have a living trust. And I will say that everyone not just deserves it, everyone needs a living trust if they own a home. And then finally, just wanted to thank you for watching these episodes. And so please tune into more. Would love for you to see and be able to shop around. So thank you for doing that. Again, I want to make sure that you know that you can do this. You deserve this. And let us help you make it happen. You guys have an awesome, wonderful, awestruck, incredible day today.